I'm sure it sounds worse up here in the class.
Oh, wait. My class is brutal, right? My class is at sophomore level for game designers. I teach mostly master's level game production. I teach sophomore level game for game designers. And what I make them do is every month they have to produce a game a month in a different genre, soup to nuts. They have to do all the programming, all the art, all the sound, all that themselves, right? They get an engine, so it's scripting. But other than that, it all has to be original, and they all have to do it themselves, so they understand the scope, so they understand the level of work that's going to be put into this, and so they really have to push past their ideas. These games only have to be 5 to 10 minutes, but they have to produce a game every month, and then as soon as it's done, they don't look back. They have to start the next one, right? So they really have to get used to tossing their ideas and moving on. Which is rough. I mean, my class probably takes 40 hours a week, right? But I mean, to be in this industry, I usually work 80 hours a week. So I like DigiPen, but there's a lot of other good ones. USC has some good programs. Who else has some really good programs? NYU has some good programs. But for CS, I would definitely say Carnegie, MIT, and Stanford are probably my top 3. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hey, sorry, we're reading off my iPod. I'm relaying a message from my friend who couldn't be here this weekend. He is at a accredited school to study game design. And his question was, what's the next big innovation in the way we play games that you guys would like to see?
Let's start from that side of the panel.
What? Like I have things to contribute to that. What's the next big innovation we'd like to see? In the way we play games?
Yeah, or just anything.
The urinal game.
The urinal game is a fantastic idea. We have those now. That's not an innovation.
MIT. It's MIT that actually.
What, the urinal game?
Yep, that was Game Lab.
Nice. For those without penises, this is the one that I'm thinking of. There's the urinal, which again, for those without penises, it's like a sink lower on the wall without a faucet that you pee into. And there's a screen above it, and you control the thing on the screen with the stream of urine, which is good because it forces people to stay on target, which we wouldn't think would be that difficult. But speaking of someone who goes to men's rooms. Yes, apparently it's really difficult for some people.
They actually did a quantifiable study of the janitorial costs and the lowering of janitorial costs.
That's fantastic. All right, urine games. There's my innovation. That's not an innovation. That's just
the future.
That's just awesome. Urine games in the house. Urination. Can I play that game from my couch?
Yes, but you shouldn't.
Without angering my girlfriend or her cats.
I'm marginally less likely to go and crash on your couch.
I'm sick of motion control, so I'd like to have not motion control actions.
Motion control continues to become so advanced that it can track your thumbs. So you can just play regular video games again. You just sit there on the couch and you're connected.
Just give you a block of wood to hold.
And it's using like incredibly massive processor resources. I remember like the Kinect has got lots of cool stuff, and I personally am not a big fan of the sort of motion control type stuff. But I remember when it came out, I was reading an article that was saying it's like whether you like the Kinect or not, it is unquestionably a step towards the holodeck.
Yes.
Which I think we can all agree is a good thing to work on. If you can integrate some of the things people are doing with hacked Kinects into actually Kinect games,
because all the
Kinect games are like the least interesting thing people are doing with Kinect.
So this is the truth, right? I'm sure you guys have all seen it, but the homebrew Kinect stuff, it's amazing and could provide amazing games. But instead, because of marketing decisions, they decided to clone Wii games, right? Which is not what the Kinect is for. It is actually fundamentally a different piece of hardware. Like, you may not believe it because everything we've been given is a Wii game that happens to be on an Xbox.
It's an amazing piece of hardware. It sucks. The game, like, Dance Central is cool, but all the games, all the
Well, Dance Central is the only non-Wii game.
Yeah. It's what my friend was saying. There's the two types of games for Kinect. There's the pointing at stuff game, and there's the and essentially all the games that Microsoft demos at like E3 are based on one of those two paradigms. So, better, cooler stuff with the technology we have.
That's a good point. That's Stringer cool. Yeah. Specifically the story behind Stringer got pitched. Are you familiar with that?
Which one?
The story of how Gunstringer got pitched?
No, I was.
This is Gunstringer. This is the Kinect game.
Yeah.
Okay, so they. This was back when it was called the. This is back when the Kinect was called Project Natal, and it was who's the developer for Gunstringer? Thank you, Twisted Pixel, which is now they're now in house with Microsoft, but they were going to pitch a game, and they had a whole thing prepared. They had a whole presentation ready. And then they went, before the pitch meeting, they went to lunch, and they were talking about, I'm probably getting some of the details wrong here, so if I am, feel free to correct me, but they went and had lunch with them, and they were talking about it, and over the course of the lunch, they realized from talking to the people they were about to pitch this game to, that it did not do what they thought it did, and their game would not work. And they were like, oh crap. What do we have to go in there in 10 minutes, what do we pitch? And there was literally like a painting of a guy with a sombrero in the lobby.
It was like a skeleton cowboy.
Yeah, it was like a skeleton cowboy, and they were like, okay. We can get it, great, good, pitch it, let's go. And it worked.
No, I agree with that. That's true. This is the holodeck, and so that's my answer.
So my answer is kind of a cop-out, but I actually want something that I couldn't possibly think of right now. Right? That's what I want to see in the future. I want to see something that we haven't envisioned. I want to see people actually pushing the bounds and see what we can do. And then again, I want innovation outside of the technological field, because we've had 30 years of technological innovation and very little design, narrative, sound, that sort of aesthetic even innovation, right? And every time we have them, I think we really have moved the medium forward. So I would like us to start experimenting in those areas.
That's why I let you mention most of the time. Hello, sir. Hello.
Oh, before you start, I see a man in the corner who's been texting me this entire battle. Come on up, sir. Actually, I'll just let you introduce yourself. This is the man who makes PAX a reality.
Grab a seat. Hang out with us. Say hi. Of course. Hi. How are you doing?
This is what happens if you become friends and come to say hi with us. We're going to make you sit on a hot panel and be awkward. Extra credits and friends.
Alright, yeah. Okay, so now I can clear away this Christian device.
I don't exactly make PAX happen, but I work on PAX a lot, and I know these guys from PAX. Like, I've talked to these guys a ton, so just saying hi. What's up? I love you guys.
Alright, you had a question.
Yeah, I actually had two. One was, I know that in the art industry mainly, it's very hard to become motivated with a product that you have, you know, like, whether that be movies or video games or just writing or drawing. And I was wondering how you get that motivation to basically, like how you knew that, okay, even though there's a lot against me, I know that I'm going to sell myself. I know that what I have is a gift and that it is going to sell. And I noticed you're smiling.
I was just trying the phrase "sell myself." I hope I haven't done that. But so how do we get the motivation to maintain?
Yeah, well, basically because like in the industry, there's so much going against you. You know, like it's so hard to get in. You're never going to get in. But then some people actually strive for it and say, "I'm going to do this. I'm going to get in."
So to me, I am probably not right in the head. I believe in a very subjective reality, right? And it is honestly my belief that I will just form a plan and then start adjusting that plan as circumstances play against it, but there's very little that I believe isn't accomplishable by any of us. I am not a big believer actually in innate talent, right? And so to me, it was, I mean, I sent out, when I first applied to the game industry, I sent out 207 resumes. I got 3 yeses back, right? That's what it took. When I first got into the games industry, I was working for Activision, and they called me up and said, "We need you here in 2 weeks." I was broke. I was literally destitute. I realized I had enough money for the flight. So I flew down there with a suitcase, put my suitcase under my desk, and for the first 2 weeks until I got my paycheck, I slept on the beach, right, because it was San Francisco. Who cares, right? And so there's always an answer. There's always a solution. I mean, that's part of design. Right. You just have to find it. And so yeah, I mean, that's the thing to me. There is always a way.
I would give an answer to this question, but again, like, I sent out like 12 demo reels, and one of them got me a job at like the place that like is one of the best places in the entire. Like, I am obscenely lucky, and like my coworkers kind of like hate me sometimes.
And you're a Pixar, right?
Yeah, I'm a Pixar candidate.
Okay,
yeah.
all right. And then the other question kind of goes back to the college thing. Do you think it really matters exactly which college you're going to? Like, say, George Mason University opposed to New York University. If someone would say, "Oh, New York University, I'll take that guy," as opposed to GMU.
For animation or for games, I guess. I mean,
for games or
yeah,
yes,
different case. Animation, it doesn't matter, really.
Okay.
So yes, I mean, we are aware of the various different universities, and there are different tiers of university, right? Often it may be a toss-up between Carnegie and MIT, or it may be a toss-up between Vanderbilt and something else not true. But if you're going to, or Vanderbilt and RIT or whatever, if you are going to a college which is really unknown, it will play against you. Unfortunately, what the truth is, we're very bad at separating out resumes in this industry, and we get a lot of them. So HR is desperately looking for any measure that they can use to sort. And for people just out of college, one of the sorting mechanisms is, well, if you don't have a strong portfolio, if you don't have other work you can show us, what college did you go to, right? Because they have a general sense of how people in those colleges have. So unfortunately, yes, it does matter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I recently just started playing, or just finished playing Uncharted 3, and I've been playing Skyrim for a while. And they're both very good games, but in like completely opposite areas, where Uncharted is very movie-like, and Skyrim doesn't really have a whole lot of narrative. What is your opinion on those two games?
I'm absolutely like a fan of both. I think games can do both very well. Like, as on one end of the spectrum, I know James as a designer is much more toward the like non-cutscene kind of like just like letting games tell stories the way they can, because they are kind of their own medium. And I mostly agree, but I also think there is kind of room for a film game kind of hybrid sort of thing. Like the Metal Gear Solid series, a lot of us don't go to that just for stealth gameplay. A lot of us go to that for the weird, like absurd story that Kojima wants to tell us every time. So, even though we know it is ridiculous to sit down for an hour and a half long cutscene before playing a game again, we still go back and do it every time. Yeah. And we sort of love-hate that at the same time. I love the Uncharted series, and I love Skyrim as well. And I think they're both awesome. I think a game can do either one. And those are two examples of games that I think do it quite well. Uncharted 2 is slightly more than 3, I think, but they both, I think, are really fun experiences, just in completely different ways.